All right, what's up, family? Episode number 5 of our demo and track feedback sessions here. Thank you again for another meaty episode. We got at least 4 submissions in here from the homie Denats, Sam Jurgens, Roman, and Philippe Hers. So we got a number of good submissions here to review. Just as a reminder to y'all, August 15th, this Friday, is the final day in which for you to submit your remix of my track, The Spark, which is part of a collab EP I'm doing with Phil Weeks, which will be available on vinyl only. So looking forward to that. Lots of good submissions that are in. If you want to get involved with that, I'll post a link below for my Patreon for you to sign up and download the stems accordingly. But let's dive right in. I'll show you my screen here because I already got it loaded up. I was curious to hear this one from Denats, who is a regular part of my Patreon community since 2020, I think, when COVID was going on, and he's done some great things and he's releasing music more consistently. So he's just looking for feedback on this one. So let's give it a play. This is classic Denats. He's found his own sound with it's like a sequence soulful sound on the bass lines and how he structures melodies too with the sample chops, but the drums really come together nicely. I like this pickup here. Oh, I like that. I feel like I've heard this bass line before. I'm playing over it. I just can't recall the sample right now. Oh, nice. Looks like we're leading into a breakdown right here. So the arrangement is DJ friendly for sure. Halfway through the breakdown. Back in. All right. Let's advance a bit. All right, I think this has a pretty cool groove to it. Oh, here's the other interesting thing. What's all of this silence here? This looks like silence. Yeah, there's nothing here. So just beware when you're bouncing demos down and you have all this extra space. It's just, anyway, just something to look for. But I like the groove in this one. I thought it was cool. I really love the tightness in the drums and just the pickup in it as it escalated and different instruments were introduced. Pretty straightforward groove. Like the bass line is cool, but it's not like, killer. It sounds familiar to me like something else, and that's probably why I'm just like, yeah, I know I've heard this before, but I just can't pinpoint the sample. But all of that aside, DJ friendly track. You can anticipate different changes in builds. The breakdown in the beginning was cool. I personally thought it was a little bit long to have a breakdown of this nature. Show you my screen. We're like 1 minute into the song, and then we have a breakdown here, and then it goes back to the body of the track, but it stays consistent. Something like this, I probably would recommend from a song arranging perspective, introduce it around here. You can still have a breakdown after you do these DJ Q beats here. And I don't know, maybe it's not considered Q beats from Denats' perspective because the bass line is already there. Like we're only, as you can see, 47 seconds into the track and it's just already going off. But this breakdown, I would just place it here. So cool cut. Nice little groove to it. The snare, let me just listen to this again. Yeah. I like the snare arrangement too. Like he's got a lead snare and a tune 4, and then there's like a faint snare, like groove snare. It's like da 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 da. It's like the velocity of a couple of the notes in there are a bit lighter, which makes it sound more natural. So I liked it. I think it's a cool groove. Not for Purveyor right now, but there's some guts there to it. So nice one. That's Denats out of Australia, I believe it is. Let's pull up the other track and see what's cracking there. The other thing with that Denats track too is, because we've been working together for a little while now, like the bass lines are much more in key and improved. And I don't know if he's still sampling like a note and then transposing it across like a keyboard and then replaying the bass line, but I can tell it's played. It sounds nice and much more in key. So good work there. All right. Next one is from Icaro. So we've had him, I think episode 1 gave us a really cool track. So let's see what's come back. I think the first time is more of a deeper track. So let's listen to this. Nothing Just Happened. I like where this breakdown is. It looks a bit long, but I like that it's in the middle of the song. So that's cool. That works for me. So good DJ Q beats. Let's advance. Okay, we hear a pad coming in. That 909 open hand is kicking. Yo. Yeah. Again, on the deeper side, but just funky, man. It just swings. Okay, let's go into the breakdown.
Your steps were ordered. If you haven't got the phone call that you got when did got like you got it, you wouldn't even be here right now. If you hadn't made the turn that you made yesterday, you wouldn't experience what you're experiencing today. God has been behind the curtain like a puppet master, pulling strings in your life. It's not that you're smart. It's not that you're
this
great.
is definitely
It's
TD
not
Jakes.
that you're holy.
I know this
It's
man
not
good.
that you're perfect. It's not that you're good. But God winded you up, pointed you in the right direction, released you into your destiny, and you are
I like
here,
the build up
and you
underneath
can't
it.
get away.
And then we're getting
Slap
into the
somebody
drop
and
shortly.
tell them nothing just happens. And tell them
Yeah. So again, so he's gone with like the deeper house side of things, and to me, this is what deep soulful house should sound like. All of the things are kicking off here. Again, if I release deep soulful house music on Purveyor Underground, I would definitely be into this track, maybe with some remixes too. And the only reason why I say remixes is just like the chords, they're major seven chords that are used there. I've heard those a lot, and then over time with house music, you'll run into these same types of chord structures. And I highly encourage new producers just try and change it a little bit, because we've not only heard this through the beginning and development and rise of house and deep soulful house music, these same major seven chord, structures, but we just have so much opportunity with different advancements in technologies and sample packs just to do it a little different, right? So I encourage people to do that. The drums were on point. I love the swing. I love how they knocked. It sounded great in studio here. The bass line and way it's played and phrased, it was also great. So, I don't have much to add to this other than what I said with respects to the chord structure, and just try and change it up a little bit, because we've heard these things before. At least I have, and those little changes that are different from what most people are doing or have done are the things that distinguish you. But the arrangement is on point. The mix down is great. Nice track. All right, let's move on to the next. So again, that was Icaro Mana. Nothing just happened, which is very true. Great vocal selection too. He's got a powerful voice. All right, let's see who we got next here. All right, next up is Ronan. Oh, two tracks. All right, so let's listen to this first one. I changed my mind. Are we gonna get something jacking this time? Something funky? All right, let's check it out. Ronan C. I changed my mind. Standard Q beats. See where this is leading into. So it looks like standard Q beats, and then it's going to go into a breakdown here. Yeah. I like that gradual build in the breakdown. Okay, adding the percussion, nice touch. Okay, so with this one, I would say the idea is cool, but it would be a no for me on this track. Sonically, a number of things work well. It did sound like there's a little bit of heavier compression on the drums, just something to look at. But my overall take on this, again, similar to the previous track, we've heard these chords before, right? And and it's just, I'm encouraging people just to change it up a bit. Try and find something that you haven't heard before. I mean, from a new producer perspective, it's good to sort of deconstruct things, use things that are familiar to understand how they got there and how they're built. But then from there, try and put your own signature on it with something different than what has been done before. So, in terms of the strength of the track, I like the drums a little bit over compressed, but I did like the drums. I thought the arrangement was cool. And this is very interesting for a lot of new producers. Song arrangement is a struggle for them, but in a lot of these submissions, the arrangement and timing are really strong. So kudos to you on that. The thing I would recommend when it comes to arrangement is, certain percussive elements. I noticed in this track it was being swapped out. So you would hear the conga, but you wouldn't hear the sub bass underneath it, and vice versa. And I don't know if that's intentional, but it would have been good to have those all together. And I don't think. Okay, it's all together there. But in the beginning, yeah, it was out here. It kind of just broke down in a way where I think the percussive elements could have been used to give more movement to the beat. And the other thing, in terms of sound choices, I definitely would have put more of a fuller snare as opposed to just a clap on a 2 and 4, or at least have a slightly light snare underneath the clap to just fill out that mid range. Because when people are listening, they want to lock into stuff, which leads me to my next point in terms of do difference on this track. Those types of vocals where it's not saying anything, it's like da da, like more scatty sort of things, and it's not really saying anything. Highly recommend you replace those with something that a listener can lock into, that speaks to them, and they'd want to, and not only anticipate when these hooky elements of a vocal are coming in, but also just join in. Like it's a part of their musical palette. As people build playlists, as DJs are selective with the tunes that they want to share with audiences, vocals that are saying something distinctive that people could lock into are more powerful than those. There's a time and place for sort of scatty stuff, but for new producers, I highly encourage you take that into consideration as you build your own tracks and look to create a signature. All right, so that's it for me on that one. I Changed My Mind by Ronan C., the Downtown mix. I think there's another link called Alone. Yeah, let's check this one out too. Play. Yeah, they're similar. See, like, what's the vocal saying, right? Try to find it. I like this. I love these bass line and beat breakdowns. They're dope. You know what I mean? Like, what is she saying? So very very similar to the first one. Has the same stuff. Drums sound a little bit too compressed, uh, and the chords they're just stuff we've heard before. And although I do like how the chords were layered and how the bass line was played, it again the that's like, as a label owner myself and for other record labels, I'm certain they hear a lot of tracks that are very similar to what we've just listened to, and that's where you know making a strong effort to distinguish yourself and do something just different than everything that's being heard in terms of the norms really will put you leaps ahead. Like the vocals, I'm not sure if it's a sample pack thing, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it was a sample pack thing, if you know what I'm saying. I hear those type of vocals all the time. So, um, respect on the idea, a bit more work to be done. All right, let's move on. So, thank you, Ronan C, for that. Appreciate that. Let's see what we got. All right, next up, this one is from Sam Jurgens, Toronto. I know Sam from back in the day. He gave me one of my first gig opportunities in my come up when I decided to return to music. And he mentioned when he DM'd me that he wants to get back into production as well. So let's check this out. So the clap is a little loud here. Yeah, so this track it would be a solid like no for me, and no disrespect to anyone. Um, it's just not hitting. Like you have like the raga vocal, which was fairly repetitive from what I can see, and just randomly moving through the track, it just hit it too much. Also, too, like I think the key of the song, like you have that bass line groove, and then you got this. Yeah, the two just don't seem to mix well. It also sounds like the drums too. It just sounds too busy. Like that tambourine and the movement of the conga piece, it's just too much movement. And then you have the vocal come in. No, here it is. Like it's just not locking into what I would say is a solid groove that, as a DJ, I would want to play and listen to. It's just there's just too much going on there, and I would say strip it back to the bass line and the beats. Maybe it breaks it down, and also the speed, the phrasing in which the I don't know, I don't want to call it a guitar, but that ding, 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 the plucky sound, it's too busy. So between that, the snare rolls, the percussion, and the fast tambourine, it's just a bit too busy for me, and I'm having trouble locking into a groove. So yeah, man, so I appreciate the return, Sam. I would just keep at it, and strip this back a bit. and then listen to this against, what's currently in the market today. I mean, this is almost like, I want to say, like old school progressive house sort of thing. Um, and what would probably work is if there's like a side chain on that plucky thing with some cutoff and filtering, that might work and lock in and just strip back the beats a bit, so it just doesn't sound as busy. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Sam. Let's move into the next one. All right. We got Philippe. Mayman Philippe. Hers. Let's check this out. Call Me. I wonder if it's a sample. I think it's going to be. But it might not be. All right, this is Hers. Call Me. Oh, shit. Yes. Yes. I like this.
Yo, what's going on? It's JID. I'm up here with Funk Flex on Hot 97.
Feeling this. Yes. Like that crowd sample is a little loud, but I like that it's different. Comes out here. Boom. Yeah. Let's see what he does here. Yes. Feeling this, man. This is dope. Yes. This. Yo. Feel this. That's cool. That shit right there, like the intensity and the rise of this new sound, to take us away from the main melody that was introduced. That's dope. Nice. Let's advance.
Yo, what's going on? It's JID. I'm up here with Funk Flex on Hot 97.
Dope, dope, dope. This is what I've been waiting for. Yo, so this track, I love everything about it. I love everything. I love how the drums put together. I love the arrangement, the melody, the change ups that happen with the melody, like introducing that other pad like or string like sound, and it's ramping up. Let's go back to it to show you what I'm talking about. Like we go from here. Where is it? This sound dun, 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 to over here, right?
JID. I'm up here with Funk.
Where is it? Yeah, right here. Like that sort of change up stuff is great. It keeps me locked in as a listener and makes the track interesting. And then on top of that, the drums are just popping and making it funky. And that crowd thing, like I said, that crowd sample, it's not saying anything, but it's adding something rhythmic to the track. So I love this. Like, so Leap, Hers, tell you, man, this track, give me a couple of others, we'll put this out. And I know you got tracks. I know you got tracks. This is the kind of stuff I would put out. I can rock with this, you know. So fantastic work, man. Like this is what I've been looking for, and I love the drum work and the intelligent snare work, like the funky grooving snare work that was rocking with this one. A couple of vocal pieces, with the exception of the crowd, I would bump up maybe a couple of dB, just so it's more audible. Like it just sounded low there to me.
On all this JID, I'm up here with Funk Flex and Hot 97.
Yeah, the hot nine that
JID, I'm up here with Funk.
turn that piece up a bit more. It was just a little low. I'll show you my screen here. Like in this area, it was just a bit low, and I think it happened again around here when
Flex and Hot 97.
yeah, when you're closing the song out. So uh, I would definitely consider raising the volume on that. But well done, well done. I love these submissions. I think that was the last one. Let me just check in here. Check our inbox. Yeah, that's the last one. So solid submissions. We actually went through 5 different submissions. So I appreciate you guys sharing your tracks and being open to this feedback. But definitely, hers, Philippe, you took the cake on this one. That was a nice way to finish off the session. So I'm going to end with that. Please, if you'd like to learn more, hit me up on Patreon. Come through. Lots of great information. We got over 200 plus episodes of my weekly production stream. As you've seen here, you saw my screen, and you got another angle back there. We got this action cam here when I'm doing stuff over here. I bring it close sometimes too. So anyways, I'm going to end with that. Much love and respect. Peace.